Welcome to Politics and Tactics. Today we got a great show for you, and we're live from FDIC. Here with my co-host, Dave Polikoff, who taught on Monday? Taught on Monday. How many people in your class?
74.
74 people. 74 people paid to go see Dave Polikoff. What was the name of your class?
It was Command Under Fire, talking about incident command and running command, talking about how line officers fit into it, and then actually if they're interested in promoting up, what it's going to be like to be in the battalion vehicle to run incident command.
And one of the great things about Dave's class is he actually puts the mic in the participant's hand so they can give those radio reports. So thanks for having a great workshop. And we're also here with Jim Silvernail, the author of Suburban Fire Tactics, a contributing author to Command Presence. Did I get the name right?
You got it right.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So Jim has been a leader at FDIC for years. And when are you teaching, Jim?
I'm teaching tomorrow morning at 10:30.
10:30. And what's your class?
Tomorrow is Adaptive Suburban Truck Company.
Okay. So if they don't have a truck company, they can still go to your class?
That's right, and that's the whole premise of the whole class.
See? You don't have to go
Look
now.
at that, you've already figured it out.
And who do we have with
This
you?
is Chief Steve Olschwanger. He's from our county, from St. Louis County, where I'm from, the Maryland Heights Fire Protection District Chief. And he's here today to help me talk about the subject that you asked me to come to. So welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve, now the program is called Backstoppers. What's the history behind the Backstoppers?
Correct. And I believe it was 1959, a group of businessmen in the St. Louis area got together, formed the Backstoppers organization, which helps any families that are involved in a line of duty death or a catastrophic injury, and they provide funding for pay off the house, cars, put the kids through school, through college, and follow them all the way along so the surviving spouse or family member doesn't have to all of a sudden one day think, oh my God, how am I going to pay for the house, my car, my kids, things like that.
So this is about taking care of each other. And is
Absolutely.
this just for the fire department? Does it encompass all first responders in your area, or is it just for the fire department?
No, it's for fire, police, EMS, and it's 28 counties in the St. Louis, Missouri region, plus it goes a little bit into Illinois since we border right there at the river, and it's a phenomenal organization, and there are so many people that support it. We're very fortunate.
So now is this like Tunnels to Towers, which does a great job that we've had on this show, where they're paying off the mortgage, or is this the mortgage and more?
It's mortgage and more. And Jim is one of the board of directors for Backstoppers, following in his father's footsteps, who was a very big proponent as well for many years. But no, it pays the mortgage, the cars, school, whatever bills basically that any normal family would have. Backstopper steps in and takes care of that, just to take one less burden off the surviving spouse or family members.
So Jim, your dad's got to be proud of you. You're carrying on a legacy that he was a part of starting, or a part of?
Well, so no, he didn't start it, but he was definitely one of the contributing advisory board members. He was a big face of the Backstoppers.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. You just supposed to run with it.
No. I'd like to say he started, but it started in '59. That would make me pretty old, so
Okay.
I don't want to. But no, he was a huge member of the organization, and I was just humbled to be asked to take his spot on the advisory board. There's about 30 people on our board of directors that oversee, and like Steve was saying, we come in, you have a line of duty death. We know we're not going to replace your loved one. We know that no matter how much financial backing we have, we know that we're never going to replace that individual, and that's not really our goal. Our goal is to help you to get through the next steps of your life, to remove that anxiety of any type of fiscal responsibility that you might have. Like we said, you have debt, it's gone. We come in that day. I've had the misfortune, but it's been bittersweet to actually be on one of those delivery days where you actually see the family. You look in their eyes and you say, your debt's gone. This is a horrible day for you, but we don't want you to worry about any type of financial burdens. They're done. And it really is, it's very humbling. It's one of the most proud things I do, to be on that board. Steve is actually on our Guns and Hoses board, so they work together. So just to let you know, the Backstoppers we currently take care of about 90 families with about 75 dependents.
That's a significant number of
It
people.
is. We've taken care of over 200 families since 1959. But that number, we spend approximately $2.5 million a year. And the only way that that's possible is through the community. And the St. Louis community comes out every year. We have Guns and Hoses on the night before Thanksgiving. And the last 2 years, we've put out we've made $1 million each night or each year for that event. And like I said, you want to talk about Guns and Hoses?
Yeah, and what it is, it's a charity boxing match. So police officers, first firefighters, or paramedics.
Can we
first
get Jim and Brian?
Hey,
we said
could.
it here at
We-
FDIC
yeah.
Live.
I don't think that's
Brian
gonna happen.
Zaitz
Right.
has
Yeah.
the keynote.
Yes.
We're all looking forward to it. You're his chief and mentor. What about a celebrity boxing match?
I think we could make that happen
I can
for
produce
you.
it.
I think you're a little too selective for that, but yeah, thanks.
But it's a great. We sell it out every year. It's the biggest event in St. Louis, always on the night before Thanksgiving, like Jim said. And
Oh, so everybody's coming home for the holidays.
yes,
So it is a
and
great time.
we fill. It's where one of our sports arenas, so we fill that. And again, the donations all go to the Backstoppers. And like Jim said, the last 2 years we've hit $1 million plus. And we're fortunate too, because again, the corporate community in the St. Louis area is very first responder friendly and helps tremendously.
Is this something that the Titans help out with?
No, but we'd like to get them involved in this.
Okay.
Anybody, but you know, and this is very tangible. You know, as a fire chief for me, because you know, I know that we're never going to take the risk out of what we do. But knowing that, you know, my people, at least that their financial needs could be met in the case of catastrophic injury really is, I don't want to say it's a great reassurance, because I never want that to happen, but it is an assurance to know that at least they'll be taken care of in case it's something really bad were to happen. And, you know, Steve unfortunately had that experience back in 2019, and this hits really home with him. He had one of his firefighters have a line of duty death after a training incident. Or no, yeah, it was after training, right?
Right, after running several calls and training. It was a cardiac event, but unfortunately, 42 years old. And I had either, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate experience, though, to go with the Backstoppers board that presents that first check, like Jim said. And it is very humbling to at least know that while we can't bring that loved one back, we could at least start them on the right path with some financial help. And you know, we also, the organization provides counseling and things like that that we'll pay for, again, for the kids, for the family members. And it is very humbling. It's the best insurance policy we hope we never have to use.
That's a great way of putting it.
But,
he put it better than I could.
Yeah, but at least we know it's there for our folks. And most of our folks in all of our departments are members as well. There's a membership that you can buy, and you know, we're very fortunate, again, in our region. All of our members see the great things that it does, and
So the individual firefighters and cops can buy
Buy-in.
and have a little buy-in.
They can have buy-in,
Mm-hmm.
but so we want them to be members and take ownership in this phenomenal organization, but you don't have to be a member to receive the benefits, and that's one of the main things we have to point out. It's like,
Right.
we want you to be involved in this, but you're still going to have, you know, the benefits come to you. But just one quick success story. So we have had some success stories with, and like I said, there's nothing successful about having a line of duty death. Everything is horrible. But our prosecuting attorney in the St. Louis County, his father was shot and killed in the line of duty in the 59 or 60,
early
60s
60s.
in St. Louis City. We put him through law school. I didn't, obviously, but the Backstoppers put him through law school, and he became our prosecuting attorney for years.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
just-
a great success story.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
yes.
But we have
So
numerous.
it's tangible. You can see the success.
Yes.
When you talk to the people, and firefighters and cops know that somebody's taking care of their family. God forbid.
So
Whatever happens.
when it comes to funding, you have donations, and the community donates, the business and things like that. Do you have any other source of revenue stream that comes in? I mean, are you a 501c3 type charity?
Yeah, so we don't, all we have are basically memberships, and we got the fundraisers throughout the community. The Guns and Hoses obviously is the biggest one, but it's amazing the people that come out and support the Backstoppers. The brand has really established itself in St. Louis, in the St. Louis area. Every little kid that has a bake sale, they're almost like, what do you want to donate to? And they're basically, the Backstoppers always comes up.
Right.
Car washes.
Bolathons,
Yeah,
kind of like the old muscular dystrophy
Right.
things that we used to see
Sure.
for so many years. And in our region, like Jim said, they're
Yeah.
donating to the.
This is politics and tactics, and you can't throw out MDA
That was
without
a,
anybody
that was
saying.
a whole show in itself.
If
but-
you're out there collecting for MDA, ask the International Association of Firefighters why they were taking over $1 million a year from sick kids.
the politics
so,
part.
It's the politics.
I'll leave that
I don't
part to you.
Our,
No,
our
I'm just
viewers,
saying
our
that.
viewers
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
so inundated with what's going on, and it looks like because of shows like this, publications, and member outrage, that it appears by the LM2 filings that the International Association of Firefighters is not taking that money anymore, and the money is going to sick and dying kids. So, but we got to continue to hold them accountable, and I look forward to reviewing their LM2s recently. That's a Federal Department of Labor filing to make sure the money is going to the charity, because it's supposed to be about the kids. It's supposed to be
100%.
Well, we can guarantee
Yeah.
the money to the Backstoppers does go to the Backstoppers, and there's no, nobody else putting their hand in any till or anything. It's going to where it
Yeah.
needs to be going.
What's the administrative? Do you know off the top of your head?
I
what
want
the
to say it's in the high
administrative
8. I'm not quite sure, Frank, but I know we publish that. Obviously, we follow the rules. I think it's in the high 80s, if I'm not correct.
cost is? And is there an administrator that runs? it?
Yes.
Yes.
So he's one of the former colonels of our St. Louis County Police Department, Colonel Ron Battelle. Phenomenal individual. If you ever come, I'll introduce you. But I do. So you'll going back to no, I'm just kidding, not the politics part, but
That's why we're here.
one of the things I want you to come to St. Louis is actually one of our fundraisers is a bourbon and cigar outing,
I like
which
that.
I know
I think-
has your
I like
interest.
it.
You
I
think
never
may-
want the hate mail to stop.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Maybe Fire Engineering Radio Show might be able to sponsor you and I to fly out there.
I think that's a great
I think
idea.
that'd be a great idea. We need to work on
Great
that.
idea.
We'd love to have you.
Peter and Mark Howell.
So when we
before
talk
that,
about funding for
100%.
you guys, you're in the St. Louis area. How can members that are listening to this program right now that are in that area, how can they donate to you guys? Do you have a website or anything like that?
You can get on the website, find the Backstoppers Inc. I don't have the
I
actual,
don't know the exact,
but
Just
they're
Google Backstoppers.
We'll get Peter and the great team at Fire Engineering to post the link to Backstoppers
Absolutely.
after the show. Just get it. We'll make sure that we post it up so that everybody knows about it.
that would be
I
amazing.
have to ask because it was brought up. Is the charity audited every year?
absolutely
Okay.
yes.
And-
Oh yeah,
Anybody who pays dues can see that audit,
100%.
and that's all we ask.
Yeah.
We want to be able to. What? I'm getting sign
You gotta
language
sit- you
from
gotta
the
sit
back.
closer.
I gotta sit closer to the mic. Okay, I apologize. We just want members that are paying money and the public that are donating it to have that confidence and realize that there's transparency. And what's really great about these types of charities is that they can actually see the success of actually helping kids. Because every firefighter and every cop, I don't know a firefighter
Yeah.
or a cop who wouldn't make their wife a widow or their husband a widow
No.
and their kid parentless for
And
the
we
community
just
they serve.
2 weeks ago had a dinner. So the Backstoppers does a yearly dinner, and one of the children of one of the fallen first responders, firefighter, got up and gave a nice little speech about her education and what she's able to do and continue her career path due to the Backstoppers paying, her college way. And it was, it was a tearjerker. You sit there and this, what was she, 18, 19-year-old girl that now, we all know can follow her path of what she wanted to do. And it's all because of the Backstoppers, since her father was a line of duty death and her mom wouldn't have been able to afford it on her own. So it was very heartwarming to sit there and listen to her.
If anybody makes a contribution, would that be considered a taxable write-off for
Yeah,
those taxes?
I believe so.
I believe
yeah.
so
okay.
too.
So now that we have all the facts, if you're living in this area and you don't give, you're a bad person. So you need to make sure that there's no excuse not to give to these gentlemen's organization. It's obviously doing great stuff. We know about Tunnels to Tower, which helps a large area for military, police, and fire. We have the Heroes Foundation in the Washington metropolitan area that does the same thing for police and fire. And what you guys are doing is unbelievable. We've had a line of duty death in my county, and it's terrible to, obviously there's nothing good about any of it, even the information that comes out after the report and anything like that. But knowing that you're taking care of the spouse, you're taking care of the kids, one less thing for them to worry about as they try to put their life back together and kind of find out what's normal after an event like that. So,
And for firefighters and cops, it's great to know that they can take something out of their check and give to something that could potentially benefit their family. Hopefully not.
Right,
we were
correct.
shooting the Mayday DVD for fire engineering, and we staged a funeral inside a funeral home. And I had the funeral director, and I didn't know what he was going to say, kind of say a few words. And it was, I mean, it's almost common sense, but it just kind of hit me when he said it. And he said, when people walk into this room, the only thing they wish they had was more time. And it was just like, you know, there's not a firefighter or cop out there who thinks that it's going to happen to them. But it happens, and it only takes a tenth of a second. And organizations that are responsible, that are willing to put their books up, that are willing to do volunteer. How many volunteers are making this happen? You're sacrificing for your family to make sure that these events go off. But this is what it's really about. It's about taking care of each other.
absolutely.
The hardest thing, and I know Steve can say the same thing, the hardest thing that I have to do as a fire chief is pinning day. You know, when I hire a young kid, the last kid I hired was 21 years old, which is unbelievable to me. Born after 9/11. I mean, if you can believe that, it kind of dates us. But, you know, I hired this kid, and I looked at his family, and I do this every pinning. I looked them after we're done. I said, look, this is a two-way street. Your son promises to give me his best, but I also promise to keep your kids safe. And if you had a wife, or, you know, I'd tell them the same thing. But, we try to do that, and we try to make them as safe as possible. But we all know that we can't take the risk out of this job. And there's going to be a time, if you do this, it's like Top Gun, right? If you fly long enough, this is going to happen. If you're in this business long enough, you're going to know a story, or you're going to know somebody that has fallen in the line of duty. And that's why the Backstoppers is there, really. I mean, I try to fulfill my promise, but they're really behind us, making a little bit more behind it. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're fortunate. We have so many volunteers, first responders for like this Guns and Hoses event that come out, and we actually have our first meeting June 6th. You know, the event is in November, but we're already starting to plan it. It's that big. And we'll have 50 volunteers there on June 6th, ready to go to make sure this thing is the
Yeah.
success that it's been.
And just think
the
what you
last-
could do if you have the opening of Jim versus Brian, chief against chief. I mean, that would be phenomenal.
I will bring it to the director's attention that
I'm gonna make sure that
there's
doesn't
been
happen.
a challenge. Yes, yes.
going back to the auditing, so that you'll find this interesting. So just to let you know, the kind of the people that are on the board, it's not just firefighters, fire chiefs, police chiefs, but we do have some pretty good, interesting people on our board. So the treasurer, our new treasurer, is Judge Mary Russell. She's actually one of my residents in Kirkwood. She's a phenomenal person, but she sits on the Missouri Supreme Court. So when she comes home from Jeff City, which is our state capital, she's our treasurer, which is outstanding.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
That instills a little bit of confidence.
An
Yes.
honest judge.
Are you
She's
joking?
not a
Are you
politician in a
joking? No, I don't believe so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see,
Yeah.
honest judges. We
Yeah.
need more of them. We need more. And Washington, D.C., you said has a program, Dave?
Yeah, the Heroes Foundation, and we would. It was one of the organizations that I would give to. We would do that United Way thing every year, where you could start. You could give a certain amount of money to your check or from your check towards whatever you decided that in the United Way campaign you want to give to. And the Heroes Foundation was always part of that. And it's something you hope you never have to use. But knowing that, and I was a little younger, that if something were to happen to me, that, my parents would have been compensated. Everything would have been taken care of. They wouldn't have had to shell out a penny for anything that happened to me. And then, obviously after 9/11, the Tunnels to Tower, I think, is probably one of the top organizations out there, where I want to say at least 95 cents of each dollar goes to that organization. It's strictly run by volunteers, and they've done some really good work, with Josh and Frederick. Chris Lutman, who was a volunteer at Kentland, he was an FDNY firefighter, he was also in the Marines. He was killed in the line of duty in the Marines, and they helped his family out as
That's
well.
outstanding.
So these organizations is paramount. People need to understand that what we do is dangerous and that we would sacrifice ourselves for them. And it's nothing for them just to give a little bit back to make sure that our sacrifice is never going to be in vain. So I applaud you, what you guys are doing, especially the volunteer hours that you put in there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Chief, what are you looking forward to at FDIC? Are you out for the week?
I am. Everything. The great classes that, of course, Jim and you guys teach, and the exhibits. You know, it's always fun to walk through and kind of have a wish list of, we wish we had more money so we could get this or that. But it's just nice to keep up with the new technology and again, the classes. You can't beat the venue for the instructors. You know, you get every who's who fire instructor in one location, and we were joking earlier, tomorrow morning there's 3 or 4 classes that a bunch of us want to go to. They're all at the same time, unfortunately, so I think we'll each go to one and
Make it easy, just
yeah.
all go to mine.
Well, you are on that list. You are on that. You are one of them.
You do
yes.
like the numbers.
Yes.
You do
So
like the numbers.
but no, it's just everything you get. Wish it was 2 weeks. Wish we could stay here 2 weeks with all
The
this.
more people you bring to my class tomorrow, the less people I have to have Dave go out and grab a homeless. and bring
There
them
you
up,
go.
to
All
the
right,
seats.
that's a deal.
we're
That's a
trying
deal.
to-
And you're
trying
going to
to get a
get
lot of
him to
people
fight.
there.
So
Yeah, we're all set.
heck, I have to come. Yeah. All right.
What are you looking for?
Well, I got to tell you, it's a weird year, as you know, and we can't forget about Bobby. You know, it's going to be a hard year not seeing him walk the halls, and it's surreal. And we had the fortune of going to his services in early January and see everybody get together. And I know we got a great memorial here Wednesday night, but it's going to be, like I said, it's just going to be surreal knowing that he's not in this hallway. But his spirit's here. But I am looking forward to the new boss. I'll put out a new, a shout out to the new boss, David Rhodes. I'm excited to see what he's going to do for fire engineering and for the organization. And I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. And I know as you are too. We both sit on the FDIC and the Fire Engineering Advisory Board, so we're excited to see some things maybe. And so
Bobby left a foundation
100%.
so that Dave Rhodes can build upon it, and
That's a
it's-
great way
it's-
to look
it's-
at it.
It's beyond sad, and
Yeah.
on a purely selfish thing, Bobby was the one who pushed me to write the book. He wrote the culmination for the book, and it's kind of dampered it all down that these are his last published words, and it's an honor to have him in that book. But it's so sad not to see him here. But his legacy lives on with every firefighter, every career, every volunteer, every firefighter that he touched here at FDIC, to inspire them with some passion to go out there and just be a little bit better, and also the people that he inspired through his writing, which his writing was second to none, so unreplaceable. Dave?
Looking forward to the networking ability in this is unbelievable. Having the caliber of instructors and even new instructors under one roof is amazing. You're not going to be able to get that anywhere else, where you can pay your fee and actually be at one place as opposed to have to travel all over the country if you wanted to see a lot of these guys. It's so humbling to walk into a classroom and knowing the people are there that are sitting down to specifically see you. It's a little overwhelming, but being able to come back here, invited back to speak again, is just beyond words for me. But I enjoy going, sitting in class. I like going to your class because I think you're one of the only ones that can use profanity and get away with it.
No, I don't use it.
And but to get to see Nick's here, and he's going to be giving his class. Dave's here, he's doing his class. So I'm going to do my best to try to drop into all of it, and then fortunately we get to this clown wrote a book and was honored to be a little part of it, and really looking forward to seeing what people have to say about that. I know it's going to be
I know
pretty
my mom bought a
successful, you
copy,
guys.
so I'm like right where I need to be. I hit that threshold.
Right, but really looking forward to just networking with the people that you don't get to see, but maybe once a year, you text them back and forth, maybe some emails, but really get to kind of go out and have a couple of iced teas and Kool-Aid and stuff like that, and just to catch up in networking. It's you just can't get it anywhere else.
And Jim, your book's still available in the bookstore?
It's still available. In fact, I'm going to start working on the second edition, but we published in 2013, and it's still viable, hopefully. Hopefully you'll go out and you still see usefulness out of it. But
Well, it's found on a lot of promotional exams.
it is. So it's been used every once in a while. I'll see, where it's been picked up on a promotional exam. And, we're we don't do this to make, you don't write books to make money, as you know. You do it for a contribution, and every once in a while you'll get that email, hey, you helped me through this, or, what did you mean when even when people ask you questions about what you mean, it's like, hey, holy cow. It's like when you were a kid, you remember reading about John Norman, and now all of a sudden, you got your name on a fire engineering book. I mean, that's a heck of an accomplishment, Frank. So as I told you,
John Norman saying, "Hey, good book, Frank."
Yeah, that's definitely worth its price in
And that
gold.
was my first fire service book that I read, was John Norman's tactic book.
He got me promoted twice. I can honestly tell you that reading that book. But
That's got to be a good feeling, knowing that somebody's used your book, read it, and said, "Hey, your book helped me get promoted," or "Hey, your book is part of our required reading on the promotional exam."
Right.
The fact that you're making a contribution, and like you said, I've never written a book, but I know you're not in it to make $1 million, just like being in the fire service.
Yeah.
But the fact that people can get something from your words, to me, would be payment enough for me.
We
I mean,
believe in the free
$1 million,
market.
the $1
We
million
don't want $1
would be
million,
nice,
a couple
but
grand would be nice.
right.
I mean, this is the free market. This is America.
But
right?
just to have somebody just to say,
Competition.
the words that you wrote is good, and I really learned something from that, and that's a good payment. But $1 million is also probably pretty
yeah,
good.
All right. Well, let's just do last words at FDIC. Hope everybody enjoys the show. Steve, go ahead.
Again, yeah, like you say, hope everybody does enjoy it. The networking is invaluable. You can't beat it, and just going to be a great week as always.
if you're here and if you're not here, get here some year, because this will make your career. I know it made my career. I started coming here when I was a young fireman, and it caught on, and I had the fortunate opportunity to keep coming back, and I really think it defined my career. And I have a lot more to learn, and that's why I'm back. But get here, get out, take as many classes as you can, network. I think it's invaluable. The people that you meet here, you'll never meet these people. Like you got to get outside your box. It's just phenomenal. The people that I met, I never thought I'd meet in this world. And I just feel so blessed because of that fact. But like I said, network. I like what you said about getting the new talent. It always excites me to see the new talent that comes through these doors, because you got to remember, and that's one thing that Chief Norman told me is, look, the fire service has been here 250 years. You're passing it down to somebody else who's going to be the next up and comer. Let them, be the next up and comer. Let them be the one that's going to make this fire service great. And, just walking the halls. I remember the year that Nick Papa broke in. And I was like, oh, this kid's going to be phenomenal. Look at him. He wrote a book 2 years ago. There's just so many of those guys out here that who's the next one this year? I don't know. Hopefully we'll know them real quick. But
Well, that's the difference with FDIC. This is a conference that Indianapolis, great restaurants, great city. But firefighters come here for the conference, and we enjoy the city and help the local economy and the nightlife as well. But this conference is about the conference. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
You see other places, it's about the location. You go to the conference so you can go do something else. People come to Indianapolis to come here to this conference and then go enjoy the surrounding area.
Yeah, and to tag on what he said, if you haven't come to FDIC, you have to come to FDIC. You can just meet the people. I remember the first year that I came, I actually was in a bar with you, and John Norman's talking to me. Hey, man, how's things going? I heard your class was really good. This is a guy that I've been reading about. These are our baseball stars. These are our baseball card collectors. And to be having a conversation with the guy who knows who I am, it's like just kind of blew me away. But to be able to network, find somebody that's new that maybe you don't know, sit in on their class. Don't be afraid to give out your phone number, your email, and you make these network connections, and you never know where it's going to go. You start getting phone calls like, hey, I'm writing a book. Would you mind writing a chapter for me? I'm like, man, I'll be honored, and you just never know who you're going to meet. And the things that you learn, like you said, get out of your box, get out of your silo. Just because you work in a large metropolitan department doesn't mean that you can't learn something from somebody who's in a town that has 800 people. They experience the same things that we experience in the larger organizations. But they have to do it with less people. So there's always something to learn out here. Get out here, learn something, network.
And everybody here at FDIC is really approachable. So it's not just like this quick meeting back and forth. It's you meet, you talk, you exchange information, and 6 months can go by, and I could call Jim up and say, hey, do you got a policy on this? Do you got any experience with this piece of equipment? It goes beyond, and each year it's kind of like a reunion here at FDIC.
You see why this is the greatest career in the world this week, because like you say, all of the people that are approachable that you read about or you see on these podcasts or social media, you actually get to sit down and have one-on-ones with them. And if you're into this job, this is the place to be, 100%.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for today's Politics and Tactics. And if you happen to be at FDIC, stop by and pick up Jim's book, or stop by and pick up Command Presence, like Mr. Wallingford's going to do out there in the gallery. So we'd love to see you, love to talk to you at FDIC. And that's it.